So some next steps. Where do we go from here? You're going to start getting emails from potential client students tomorrow. So what you're going to see is a number of messages that are going to come. We're going to try to limit this to about 10 messages a day to you to start with, just to keep this manageable. And so you're going to see messages that are probably going to be one of two types. Message number one is going to be potentially of the type that sounds like, hello, I understand that you're my language coach. I'd love to know how this works. How do we get started? And then I would urge you to introduce yourself and then simply explain to them that you need to understand a bit more about them. So ask them what their objectives are, ask them why they're learning that language, ask them what prior experience they have, ask them what kind of time commitment they can make. Learn as much you can about them so that you can then be in a better position to guide them. So that's message type 1. They'll ask you how to get started with you as a coach. The other message type that's very likely to come is, okay, I've looked at active French, for example, or active English, or active Spanish, whatever, and they'll be looking at it and they'll send you a message and say, I understand you're my coach. I don't know where to get started in this language level. What's the right level, and what do I do first? Do I do videos first? How do I do this? And so for them, again, I would urge you to begin by introducing yourself. Ask them what they're trying to accomplish. Ask them what their prior experience was. Don't make any assumptions. Ask them lots of questions. Engage them. And in the process, you'll learn something about them so that you can do a better job of guiding them in terms of their next step inside of Live Mocha. So it's really important to begin by asking those clarifying questions. Now, the people that are going to be reaching out to you to begin with are people who have not yet paid for anything at Live Mocha. They're just really experiencing it for the first time. And so once you've established one or two emails of what it is they're trying to do and starting to steer them, the next step really for you is to urge them to sign up. Now, just to be clear about this, you don't have to do any of the selling here. We do all of that. The key message you want to deliver to them is, if they sign up, then they get you as a coach. They have 7 days to try this to see if they like it. And in the end, it's really only a $29 decision for them, because that's the only risk, is that in the case of French, Italian, German, and Spanish, they make a commitment for $29 and they're in, and you guys are now coach and client student, and you begin to work together. And if they are learning English, we're charging slightly more for English because it's a more comprehensive program and very often is tied to a TOEFL exam in our experience, or a TOEIC exam. And so that's the only commitment they really need to make. And of that money they give us to Live Mocha, they will get a bag of tokens with which they will then buy your time. So in essence, by having them make that, encouraging them to make that purchase with us, they will now have enough tokens in order to start spending time with you and working with you. So your job, frankly, is to answer their questions on how to get started and how you want to work with them as the coach, and just encourage them to make a decision sometime in the 7 days that they have to experiment with Live Mocha. Once they sign up, we'll notify you. Boom, they're in, and the next thing you know, your gig is all about getting tokens from your client student. Now, for some of you that have been teaching inside of Live Mocha and serving as a tutor, I know you have students that you've been working with quite a bit. We are at the moment only allowing new people into this program just to keep it limited and keep the volumes to a level that will work with you guys, because we're starting this as a pilot project. If there are students that you really like and you'd like them to be part of this program as well, and you want to encourage them and have them be part of the token program, send an email to coaches@livemocha.com, and then we'll do some magic wiring in the background, and we'll connect your favorite students to you so that they become your client students as well, and we'll just set them up with that mechanism to make that easy for them. So that about wraps us up for our end here. We want to hear from you. now and throughout this entire pilot project. The current mechanism, the easiest way to get going is just to email us at coaches@livemocha.com. We will be holding regular webinars for sharing best practices and things that didn't go so well, so we'll share worst practices too. We'll share any new information that comes out of this. We'll give opportunity for lots of Q&A. Just in the whole focus of improving this program, and the very next session on this will be in 2 weeks after we've got a couple of weeks of rolling this out and experimenting with this together. We will also be creating a coaches only website area for you to share information among each other and to allow and share files and share materials and web links and all the good stuff that works well, and tips and techniques and tricks that work in working with students and getting them to pay you for your time. And then allow for more opportunities for Q&A, and we'll participate in that, and we'll be doing, of course, lots of answers to questions in that mechanism as well. All of that will be coming. There is one little bit of paperwork left to do. We're going to turn this thing on tomorrow, and your job is to collect tokens. In order to cash out those tokens and turn those into money and have us send you checks, you're going to have to sign a contract. Some of you are already under contract with us as tutors. And so it's essentially a very similar contract to what you've done before. For those of you that are not already under contract with us, it's essentially a 1099 contract, so there'll be some forms to fill out. And essentially, we don't have to do that today. We can do that over the next few days, and even next week is fine too, because we only really need that cleaned up until we want to start to actually send you the money that you've earned. We won't be able to do that until those contracts are in place. That about wraps it up for today. I would once again like to express my deep gratitude to all of you for the contributions that you've already made to LiveMocha. I'm thrilled to have this program start, and I am extremely excited that so many of you have signed up for this program, and that we were able to find about 100 people, very selectively picking those with the teaching credentials, those with prior online tutoring experience, and those with a substantial amount of experience of participating in the LiveMocha community. I think it's just fantastic. An opportunity of a lifetime for me personally to turn this system on and turn the whole world on its ear and have teachers for the first time really actively and appropriately valued by the people who need them most, the students who are paying the fees. I hope you have a great day. I look forward to building this program with you, and I thank you for your attention. Bye-bye now.